Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to Unique. This is your host, Dr. Akudo Ehirim. And for today's topic, we're going to be dealing with abuse, domestic violence in our community. And here to discuss this topic is Dr. Obi Ibezim.
Welcome, viewers.
Chi Dike.
Hi, everybody.
And Mr. Ken Owen.
Hello, viewers.
We are not going to waste any time. We're going to go straight into the topic. Abuse. I'm going to throw out a definition, and I want you guys to give me your views on abuse. Abuse is defined as a repetitive pattern of behavior to maintain control and power over another person. Let's start with you, Dr. Obi. What are your views on that?
Well, abuse, by its definition, just like you said, a lot of people have different perceptions about abuse. To me, personally, abuse is any action, any taking against, regardless if it's your spouse, your children, your loved ones, or even your co-workers that are really unaccepted or unacceptable to the person. That would be my definition of abuse.
Chi?
Yeah, my own view in abuse is a control of power. Somebody can control your power in any way. So I believe abuse comes in so many ways, but to me, the basic thing in abuse has to be control.
Control.
That's
okay.
control.
Mr. Ken?
I would like to bring it to a layman's term.
Okay.
Abuse is when you have a bully at the home or in an environment.
Okay.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. A bully at the... So, according to you guys, do you agree that an abuser is a bully?
Of course.
Yeah.
Why do you think that, Chichi?
Because when you're talking about a bully, it's a control. You know, people get bullied in different forms of figure. People get bullied, you know. So to me, abuse is also the same word bullying. Just like teenagers who are being bullied in school.
In school.
Those are all called a form of abuse.
Okay.
Those are so, to me, that's the best way you use it. Abuse is
A bully.
a bully.
The use of power to enforce compliance.
Exactly.
Compliance with whatever you want.
Making you do what you don't want to do.
Yes.
Obi, you want to chime in?
Yes, I will jump in this because this is happening in every corner of the world.
Exactly.
Negative behaviors always bring friends. You get more friends when you act like you have the power. But kids, unfortunately, everybody learns that behavior quicker than the positive ones.
Exactly.
So really, bullying is part of abuse for everybody.
Everybody. Now, there are some of our people out there that don't know they are even in an abusive relationship. So many women out there, so many husbands out there, so many spouses out there, mates out there, don't even know they are being abused. So I'm going to throw this out. If somebody comes to you and say, tell me, what are the signs of abuse? How do I know I'm in an abusive relationship? Let's start with you, Ken. How do I know I'm being abused?
I would beg to differ from your position.
Okay.
If somebody doesn't think that he or she is being abused, probably he's not.
But what about children? Remember, we said that children are the product of their environment.
That's true.
A child that was born in a family where the mother was beaten every single day and she saw the mom still be a mother to them, that child will begin to think it's acceptable for a woman to be beat by the husband. So she might not know the difference. There are people out there like that.
Kids may develop certain characteristics as a result of what they see in the environment, be it at the home, at school, or wherever they congregate with other kids. However, the point I was trying to make is that if an adult is in a situation and doesn't know that he or she doesn't like what he or she sees, maybe it's not an abuse.
You know, I would jump in. Yes, I would jump in. There are several cultural differences with, that has to do with abuse.
Yes.
Some of them are acceptable, depends on where you are.
I understand. But for you not to know that you don't like what you're seeing,
Ken,
you may not like it and you may not have a voice to say, hey, I can't talk about it, but within you, you know that's not right.
No,
if you don't feel...
At that point, it becomes an abuse.
that's
Wherever you're in a situation, even if you can't do anything about it, but you don't feel it is right, that's an abuse. However, if you don't feel like that, then it's probably not an abuse.
Let me ask you, let me chime in here. Let me ask you a question. So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
I'll give you a scenario. There is a young lady. She was 6 years old when she was kidnapped.
Okay.
Okay? She was kidnapped by her father.
Okay.
Her father took her away, kept her locked up, abused her sexually. That's all she knew until she was 12 years old. Then she turned 15 and her father started using her to recruit her friends from school. She knew something was not right. She knew this is not the love that should go between a father and a child. But that's all she knew. When she now started talking to her friends at school, and she started hearing that their fathers don't come into their bedrooms at night, that's when it started clicking somewhere that this is really wrong. Some adults have been through abuse in their homes as children. They might think it's okay. It's our culture. We never divorce. We never leave our homes. So whatever you see in your home, you take it. And then they come out and hear somebody else begin to talk about this, like, you have the right to do what you want to do. Nobody has power. And that's when it begins to down on them like, hey, I have been abused. So it happens. It might not be the case all the time, but it happens.
You can also say that some people are abused, they don't know they are abused.
Exactly.
I'm going to give you a scenario. I have this friend of mine. She's married to a guy. She cannot wear anything short because she feels she's ugly. I mean, it's happening that she feels she's ugly. And the husband has so much abused her verbally that she doesn't even believe that
she amounts to anything.
Yes.
Does the husband tell her not what to wear or
Yes.
what not to wear?
Yes.
That's control.
So it's control. Yes, it's a control.
That's the definition.
you
You
tell
have.
All I'm trying to say is this. All I'm trying to indicate is this. Let's not get the world to compare. To fit into our narrow view. If a woman doesn't like wearing something because she feels she's ugly, that's not the husband's fault.
No,
but
when
she's
you're
telling you that-
telling a woman.
Well, if a man is telling a woman, don't wear this, it makes you look ugly, that's not right. But if the woman in her own head feels, hey, I'm ugly, I won't look good at wearing this, then it's not the man's fault.
Let me tell you one thing you have to understand. That's when somebody keep repeating something to you, you start
That's the power of
accepting it.
brainwashing.
And
That's
you start,
the power of
you
brainwashing.
start accepting it.
Yes.
It's, you start accepting what the person says. And when this thing goes on for 12, 10 years, you already
Your self-worth begins to diminish. It goes down.
So and sometimes most people don't even know they are being abused.
Well, I understand the power of conditioning, Pavlov's law, operant conditioning and things like that. I understand all of that. But I'm saying in layman's term, many people in life are not locked up. So if somebody within herself or himself doesn't feel, this situation doesn't feel right to me, I wouldn't want a situation the person watches whatever we're saying and say, hey, they say if this happens, it's an abuse. Not because the person feels this is not right.
But what
You
if
have-
ignorance? What if the person doesn't know? Did you think of that? What if the person doesn't know?
Knowing-
What you said,
knowing
the
the legal-
this might be it.
Okay, knowing the legal definition is entirely different from your inner feeling that what I'm receiving in this environment, I don't feel right with it. And that's where I'm coming from. If somebody from his or her inner core does not feel that the environment he finds himself, I mean, with exception to somebody who was kidnapped when she was 6 or 3 or whatever, that's not real life. It doesn't happen.
No, the reason why I'm saying what I said, because you said your comment about somebody being abused, and if they're not being abused, that means they're not being abused.
No,
If
I'm
they
saying
don't
if the
know,
person
if they
doesn't
don't know.
feel
No,
that,
they might
that
not.
if
No.
the person doesn't feel that what he's seeing or what she's seeing, experiencing, is not right, then it's probably not abuse.
No, because maybe it's
I guess
ignorance.
the point I'm trying to make is this: for you to first feel like talking to your friend about something that is going on, you must have felt, I don't like this. It is that inner feeling that prompts you to speak to your friend. Look at what I'm going
You
through.
also have to know sometimes they don't speak out. You as an individual, as an outsider, will see, will notice it. The reason why I knew about this was because I spoke out. You understand? I spoke out, I stepped out, I said, I called her
And it was
name.
when you started talking to
Then
her
she
that
opened up.
she now said, okay, maybe this is right.
Then
this is wrong.
I said, can I just talk to you? I called her, I said, you know, you actually been very scared of yourself. She said, what happened? I said, anytime I come around you, you're a different person. And when I started telling her the way she was
Before.
before she got married and the way she is now, she busted out crying. She cried out, and then that was when she started telling me, open up.
Let me stop us there. Guys, don't go nowhere. We'll be coming back. The argument is heating up. I'll be right back.
That's good.
All right, welcome back. I told you everybody has a passion for this topic. We are going back and forth. We are going to deal with this once and for all. So like Chichi was saying, some people go through abuse without knowing they are being abused.
That's
You might think or feel something is wrong, but you can't put your finger on what is wrong. Until you begin to see other people or hear people, then you say, oh, really? So this is what is wrong. Just like when we were all growing up, you might bring a man home and say, hey, I want to marry this man. And your mother will tell you, no way. No way, Jose. You won't marry this man. I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it, but I don't think it will work. They have that thing.
Doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right. So sometimes you might know you are in an abusive relationship, but you don't even know it's abuse. But you know something is wrong until you start hearing other people, and then you begin to say, okay. So from there, what are the signs of abuse? Let's start with you, Dr. Obi.
Well,
tell us some of the
first
signs,
all,
what you will see to know you are being abused.
First of all, it's up to you actually to realize that you are being abused.
Exactly.
And you will start asking questions, especially when you stay in the midst of people and they have different views, and they start telling stories. You kind of look at yourself and say, what am I doing wrong here? What is happening to me?
Exactly.
Why am I not doing this? Why are they doing this? Why am I not doing this? This is like you feel like you're isolated. At that point, you begin to add one to one together.
Exactly.
Signs of abuse, there are several different signs of abuse. I will start with the, like I just said, the isolation part of it.
Exactly.
You distance yourself from your friends because, first of all, you don't want them to know
what's going
on in your family. And this is very, very common with us Africans. We try to protect our territory. We try to protect our marriages. We try to protect ourselves. That way, nobody will say, oh, the story will not be out there.
Exactly.
That is wrong. It's very wrong. Signs of abuse, again, in addition to that, is when you have a need for something and you have it in your house, but you cannot access it, like economic abuse, financial abuse.
Exactly.
If you're making less and your husband is making more, or I have seen in the course of my career, several collect paycheck. Their husbands, they travel all the way to their job to pick up the checks. That's a big abuse. One of them was so proud to tell me, oh, my husband is coming to pick up my check. I said, really? Are you guys buying something? He said, oh no, he comes to my job and picks up my check every Fridays. I said, but I don't see him do the job Monday to Friday. She said, oh, that's how we do it. When she finally realized that it was wrong, she decided to divorce the man after 20 years of marriage. And when you start realizing what is wrong and what is right, you ask questions, you know that you're not alone. Be open to other people's view. Know exactly what's going on in the world. That will really help us to actually look at the real picture of abuse.
Okay, let me put something in there before I ask you guys. She raised an important view about financial abuse. Financial abuse most of the time is a subtle abuse because you don't know it's there, but it's happening. But this is not also to say that when you and your husband can sit down and agree on how you guys want to financially handle your money, is it okay? Or is it when he imposes it on you, that's when it becomes abuse?
Personally, I do not see a reason why husbands should go to their wife's job to pick up a check, because I believe as a lady, if you can work for the money, you know how to pick up your check. I'm sure you have input on how to spend the money.
Exactly.
If it's a mutual understanding between
it's
the
okay.
husband and the wife, it's quite understandable. It's okay.
Yes. So that's where you're coming from.
That's where I'm coming from.
Not, because I want to make it clear to the audience out there, because I don't want them to hear if your husband takes your money is abuse.
No.
What Obi is saying is whatever you do with your husband financially, as long as two of you agree to it, it's okay. That's marriage. That's what marriage is all about. But it becomes abuse when somebody makes you work, take the money and tell you don't have no say in it. That's when it's abuse.
This lady didn't even know how the money was spent.
Okay.
She would not know, and he traveled all the time. That was many years ago. He traveled all the time with the same money, and he didn't have a job. To me, that was an abuse because the lady always complained that they didn't have enough money, nothing to feed the kids and all that, and she was always forced to have another job to supplement the income, especially when the husband left the town. So this is an abuse to me. That mutual understanding, how husband and wife, of course, can agree on how to spend the money. They're partners.
They're partners.
That's not an abuse in that aspect. But when you slave a lady to make money for you, which is really, you will tell me, of course, some of us have that experience. I know you're not comfortable because you're the only man here, but I'm sure you will.
Yes. Don't worry, I'm very comfortable.
All right, let's get to you. Chi, what do you have to say on
like Obi said, abuse, the signs of abuse, one is isolation. I mean, when people are isolated from others, that's when you see the signs of abuse.
Because they take you away from people that will tell you what is going on is wrong.
Another one is when you're always unhappy, even when you're watching a funny movie, you're still unhappy, you know. Sometimes people are depressed, like eating a lot. They are abused, but there are signs of abuse, but they don't want to say it out. And they bottle it in. And so by staying away from others, by being unhappy all the time, to me, that's signs of abuse.
Okay. Ken, let's get to you.
Well, I have a little variance from your positions. From the ladies, of course. Isolation per se may not be a sign of abuse. To me, the reason will be, why are you isolating yourself? If, for instance, that I'm interested in academics, and I know I need more time to concentrate on my studies, to be able to achieve this within a deadline, I'm going to shade away a lot of my friends. So if they use just the little they capture from this discussion and say, oh, he or she is isolating himself, he must be abused. That's wrong. But our viewers don't know that it's different, so you have to point it out to them. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the reason for the isolation is more important than what you perceive as isolation.
Okay.
So why is she or he isolating himself or herself from her friends? So until you find out that reason, you may not jump to conclusion that person is being abused. That's one. Okay. Now, oh my God, I forgot
what you want to say. Okay, what I was trying to say, when you're talking about isolation, I mean, of course, you have friends that know you and know what you do. If your friend, you use education as one. If you have, of instance, right? If you have friends that you're in school, they won't call that one. They won't call you being absent.
Say you won't. Not that all the friends wouldn't.
Okay, so see what...
I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is we don't use one person's experience, that we don't know all the elastic variables to take it to jump to a conclusion and say, hey, if you see this thing happening, it amounts to abuse. You got to
for instance, the isolation, let's be direct on it.
Okay.
As a sign of abuse is, for instance, you have a wife in your house, and this wife doesn't communicate with anybody outside until you are home. That's control, and that's abuse. And they tell their wives, some men do tell their wives, you cannot call so and so until I'm home. I want to listen to what you're saying. And it happens a lot.
Okay, well, like what, Obi, what you said, viewers out there, just like Ken pointed out, what we are saying here, in as much as we are trying to educate, inform, and empower people, but what we are trying to do here, we are not saying, if I decide I want to go get my PhD and I need time to do my research and I don't come out and, oh, you are abused. No. Remember when we started, we are going based on the premise of what we started with. Abuse is a repetitive pattern of behavior to maintain control and power over another person. That is the premise of what the show is all about. So what we are saying is a spouse, a loved one, a partner that tells you, you can't talk. I know of a guy. He told me himself, his wife cannot call anybody on the phone because he has a tape recorder on his phone. He needs to hear what the wife says.
That's exactly
the wife cannot talk to her family members. So what we are talking saying here, guys, is abuse. And I want the audience to know it's abuse. So whatever we say, I want you to understand it, it's abuse we are talking about. We are not talking about those that decide maybe I lost my mom, I want to stay by myself. That's not what we're talking about.
Exactly.
We are talking about people that their spouse, their loved ones, lock them up. You don't go nowhere. You can't walk. Your loved ones, you have to put the phone on the speaker
Control
for
your
him
behavior.
to hear you talk. He controls where you go. Like I said, there was this lady. She told me she goes to Walmart or the store, grocery store. She will write the list of what she needs in her house. She will go to the store and find the prices and put it beside each item. Calculate it. If it's $50, she takes it to her husband. Her husband will look at it, look at the prices, and write her a check of $50. Then she will go to the bank and cash it, and then go do her grocery shopping. Guys, that's what we are talking about.
That one is economic
That's
restraint.
That is
That's
what we
abuse.
call financial abuse.
Yes.
So that's, guys, so
Well,
let me put it out there. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about abuse. Okay? So give
Generally,
me some signs.
no, generally speaking, whenever you find yourself in a situation you're unable to be yourself, you're being
Exactly.
abused.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's true.
If you can't get up and do things the way you feel is right, and you are seeking somebody's approval, you are being abused.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's a good
Okay,
sign.
now there's another one. A lady called me last night and she asked me to throw these questions to you. Guys. Sexual abuse. What do you think about sexual violence, sexual abuse? What are the signs?
I will jump into that.
Jump into
because
that.
it's part of physical abuse, which
Okay.
is really, I don't know, in the rise right now.
Yes.
Especially, surprisingly, among couples,
Yes.
married couples.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sexual abuse. I mean, there has to be, like, again, mutual understanding between both partners.
Partners,
Okay. And what is happening to some people right now is one partner would like to have a sexual intercourse or call it whatever you want at a certain time when the other partner is not ready for the same thing. You see what I'm saying? Because, okay, you are in need of it. You force yourself to have it. That's an abuse.
Exactly.
You have to have permission. There has to, even though we're married or you're, it's a marriage commitment, you still have to have permission. That doesn't give you the right to force somebody to do what he or she
Doesn't want to do.
I mean, not ready to do. That's an abuse. We're supposed to respect each other regardless of what. And that's a typical example of sexual abuse.
Abuse. Okay. Chief, jump in
Okay,
there.
yeah, when we talk about sexual abuse, there's a lot of things that come with it.
Okay.
First of all, when you're talking about sex, two of you have to agree, or you two of you have to have the same mind, because you can't be
Be on the
making
same
love.
page.
You have to be on the same page. You can't be you can't be satisfying yourself, and I'm bored with it. So two of you have to have mutual mind about sex, and two of you have to enjoy it. Two. There are some men and women who force their partner to make love to them or have sex with them on the wrong side of body. Most people think that is right. To me, most women don't like it, or most men don't like it. Some people use different kinds of things to make love to their spouse. To me, that's an abuse. But she or he might not want it. Just because she or he wants to satisfy you, they will go with the flow. So to me, sexual abuse comes with so many different forms. It comes in different forms. How do you make love? What kind of, do you like the way I make love? What kind of type of love making do you like? You know, do you like kissing? I mean, some people force you to kiss them without even you wanting to kiss them. So yeah, you might be laughing, but there's a lot of sexual abuse.
There has to be some kind of agreement.
I'm telling you. Okay, I'm gonna give an instance. I'm gonna give you guys an instance. This thing happened in London when I went to London last year. A friend of mine told me that the husband loves to make love to her, but through the back door.
Ooh.
And she thinks she wants to keep him because she doesn't want to let go of her marriage.
Well, again, like I said, whenever you find yourself being compelled to do something you ordinarily wouldn't do by yourself,
That's what we
abuse.
call sexual abuse. That was
Now, if it is sex and you've been forced to do it the way you normally wouldn't like, and you don't have the gut to say no, you are being abused.
okay.
However, holding back sex as a way of trying to punish the man is also an abuse.
Exactly.
You are right on that.
See, out there. Some women also, I like that he said that because that was what I was going to say.
That's true.
Some women use sex as a weapon.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, honey. Can you wash my car today?
You won't get some
honey
today.
says, oh, sweetie, I'm so tired. Oh, you're sleeping on the couch today. You are not getting any today. You see, some women, that is sexual violence.
That's true.
That is sexual abuse.
That's true.
So our spouse out there, men out there, women out there, or because the man will come to you and say, hey, can I borrow $1,000 from you? And you say, oh, honey, I don't have it. Oh, when she comes close to you in the night, get away from me. You're not getting it tonight. You didn't give me my money. So those kind of things is abuse. You can't use sex as a weapon. It's something two of you will agree. Just like Obi said, it's something two of us will agree. And I've also had the lady that called me last night, she said, some of them are in marriages where their husbands want 3-some, 4-some, 5-somes, and these men are making their wives sleep with other men.
That's true.
And most of them don't want it, but they do it because they don't want to lose their marriage. That is abuse, guys. Audience out there, listen and listen good. Sex was given, lovemaking for husband and wife, relationship, spouse to enjoy it. It should not be used as a weapon. It should not be used to control or have power over somebody. Remember what we said about abuse. Anything to maintain control and power. So if you're using sex to torment your husband or you're using sex to torment your wife, guys, you are abusing your spouse.
Also, I want to add something to this. You know, the way to a man's heart is food. The days have changed. The way to a man's house is food and sex. Okay. You know, some women restrict their men from that. So if you want to have your man, you also have to know how to give him the food, or you to also, he give you the food or whatever. Then also the sex comes with good marriage too.
Okay.
The way to a man's heart.
Both of them.
The way to a man's heart is to be smart, you listen very well, and don't talk too much.